So I'm not sure what happened, but all of a sudden the chat, I wasn't done talking, so I'm back. I didn't want to have it on there when I was still talking about stuff and we were still discussing. So if anybody comes back and wants to discuss more, we can. Otherwise, I will just end it with a note in the description box in the other video. But it ended. I don't know why it ended, and I didn't want it to end. I wasn't really. And so the supercontinent that was Pangea, because we're told that all of the sea was collected, the seas were collected in one place, and so that means the dry land would have been collected in one place. And continental drift and plate tectonics and all those things, talking about volcanoes and earthquakes and things that did not exist prior to the flood. And all of that was changed. The overall crustal activity was changed when the fountains of the deep broke open to flood the earth. The windows of heaven were open and the fountains of the great deep broke open to flood the earth. And continental drift started several generations after the flood in Peleg's time. And we find that in Genesis 10:25. And unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. And his brother's name was Joktan, or however you say that. So that is actually when the continents, I guess, started drifting apart. And eventually wound their ways today, where we have all of the water not gathered in one place. As remnants of the flood, we have lakes, streams, rivers, and we have oceans, obviously, but significantly different than it would have been back then, when the earth was watered by mist and all of the water was gathered in one spot. So that's what we were talking about when the other video ended. And I don't know why. Why not? I mean, why not? So God had created everything from the beginning, like he knew what would happen. Absolutely, he did create everything from the beginning like he knew what would happen. Yep. That's why he divided the waters above for Noah's flood. Absolutely. It was part of the climate, and the inference there is that they never would have seen rain because it didn't rain. How could it rain when you had no seasons? The seasonal changes would have been new too. And it's funny because when you have the water canopy covering the earth, and there was no tilt to the earth, it is believed that the axis of the earth tilted, 23 degrees or something like that, when it was impacted during the flood. So you have an earth that would have been perfect. I mean, it would have been tilted on the axis. And so you wouldn't have had seasonal stuff like you do today. The water canopy would have divided it. But it's funny because in day 4, when he created the lights, he created them for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Well, we wouldn't have had seasons back then. They wouldn't have had seasons back then. The climate would have been the same year round. The reason that we have climate now is because of the tilt of the earth. So, and again, the water canopy, everything would have been different. And so it's kind of impossible for us to do anything other than speculate, because obviously we don't live under those conditions. But yeah, it would have been significantly different. So yeah, that was why he placed a firmament in the midst of the waters that he divided. So that yes, during the flood, he could use that to flood the earth. And it's interesting because, like I was talking about earlier, there are 4 things needed to sustain life. Water, which was given on day 1. Air, the Earth's atmosphere, created on day 2. The firmament, the expanse placed in the midst of the waters. And that was what created the sphere that the Earth would fill, which was created on day 3. You have herb-bearing seeds and herb-bearing plants and fruit-bearing trees. And so that's food. And then natural light was created on day 4. Sun, moon, and stars. So yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. But all of that was in place before any animal life was created. And then you have fish and birds created first. So that means that they couldn't evolve into each other. And then you have land animals created next, which means that they couldn't have evolved into birds or fish. All separate and distinct. And then you have man created on the same day as land animals, which means that he couldn't have evolved from land animals, specifically the ape, whatever. So yeah, I forgot where I was going with that, but I probably had something in mind. I don't know. I'm just hoping that YouTube doesn't crud out on me again. Birds and fish created from water lay eggs. Yes. And the cattle from dirt give birth like humans. Yeah, and it's funny because dust to the ground, just like man was. And I'm just trying to figure out like what's going on with this, because I had to restart my computer when I did the next live stream, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. But no, I can stay here as long as you guys want me to. Don't get trouble for us. I'm good. I'm just trying to figure out what is going on. Sorry, my view of what you guys see is hopefully different from what you guys see, but it looks like it's buffering and stuff. I want to continue. Just bear with me. So sorry. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I'm just going to keep going. And so in Genesis 2, I need to get a new computer, I think is what it comes down to. So Genesis 1, Genesis 2. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So then, further down, he said, and out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air. So out of the ground. It appears that man and land animals were all created from the dust of the ground. And when you go to Genesis 6, Genesis 7, it talks about all of the land animals, everything that was formed from the dust of the ground, which Genesis 2 told us. But all of the land animals and all of the birds, everything which had the breath of God in its nostrils, died. It doesn't say that the water animals died, and I'm not sure why they would have, because that would have been their natural habitat. But it says, all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beasts, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land died. So, and every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. So, the water animals didn't die. The land animals, and everything that creeped upon the earth, and man, all that had the breath of God in its nostrils, died. Except for 8 people, and 2 of every kind, except for clean animals, 7 for sacrifices. I didn't put that in the book, but he was also commanded to take 7 of the animals that would be sacrificed, so that you would have enough animals to do the sacrifices after they got off the ark, and not inhibit their ability to reproduce 2 of every kind. So you need 2 of every kind. The extra 5 of those would have gone for sacrifices. So that is that. So sorry for all the issues with the streams, but I didn't want to not continue talking because I like talking about this stuff. And if people have stuff to talk about, then yay. One more question, maybe silly. So with this magic water in the garden, could Adam breathe underwater? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I don't know what his form would have been. I mean, he could walk with God. And when we're talking about the restoration from perfection to separation and being able to walk with God and not in sinful flesh, and then he sinned, and that's what Jesus is coming to redo, but we have to be changed in order that we can be in the presence of God. So I don't know what his form would have been. We're told that we don't know what we'll be like, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. I don't know specifically what he would have been able to do, what cool things he would have been able to do, but he might have been able to do breathe underwater. I have no idea. No. I appreciate your commentary and keeping this going. It was fun. I appreciate how much attention you paid to the details that I wrote about. Thank you. It's cool that you guys get as much out of this. At least some of you get as much out of this as I do. So that's very cool, and that's the whole reason I do it. So other people can be excited as I am. One more thing about agape. Sure, go for it. In Greek, agape can be the initials of the words air, water, ether, fire, earth, combined together to make the word agape. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, agape. The whole reason for everything, why Adam did what he did. So I'll save that since I already discussed it, or save it for another time. But twirling around the idea, and usually when I get ideas, they're for a reason. And I don't know what'll come of it, if anything, but I usually can't sit on them for long. So 2 Timothy, concepts from at least 3 of the 4 chapters, maybe all of them. Not going to go chapter by chapter, verse by verse, but there's some stuff I want to discuss. Maybe. We'll see. I might just save it for video discussion here. But I don't know. So the combination of the 5 elements is agape from God and makes sense. That's very true. Because all are necessary to sustain life. And that's very interesting. I'll have to study that, look into that more. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and thank you to everybody else who is here. I'll rename these live streams with the content of the videos. But as always, if there's anything you would like to discuss, please let me know in the comments, and I'm open to discussing, whatever. I have a lot of time on my hands now, so, can do whatever. But thank you for your time and your attention and your patience working with me through these technical difficulties that I always seem to have. I will paste the links in the description box for the new book in the Spotlight Volume 3. In the beginning goes through Genesis 1 through 3, and it's what we've been talking about tonight. So thank you all for your time, for your patience, for your interest, for your support and encouragement. I truly, truly appreciate it. And so does my cat, who is right here trying to get the video. But thank you all very much. I hope you all have a terrific evening, have a good week, and I will see you later.